Hey y'all, welcome to the Q&A video. I hope y'all can see me okay. I hope it's not too bright or too dark. I mean, to me it looks okay, but you know how it is when it gets on the TV. I had went on my YouTube community tab and I asked there for some questions. I also ask on my Instagram stories and my Instagram page. In case you don't realize, I do have an Instagram account. It's Kimsfarmhouselife. So if you want to follow me over there, I do stories daily and post and things like that. So I got quite a bit of questions, y'all, so I'm gonna try to make my way through them. And I took my glasses off because they kind of glare, but I may put them on and off because honestly I can't read very good without them. I separated these into 3 categories. I have sort of personal questions, then I have questions about our farm and cows and stuff, and then I have YouTube questions. So I'm going to start out first with all of the personal questions. And okay, so they are asking, and I'm not going to say who, but I'm going to start out with, what was your first job? And my first job was the Dairy Queen. I worked there for 4.5 years. I started working there when I was just a little over 16. And so I have a lot of good memories there, worked with a lot of friends, made a lot of friends. It was a fun job. I worked there through high school. I was in the 11th grade when I started, and I worked there till graduation, and I went to college for a couple years. So anyways, that was that. And the next one was, how old were you when you started working, which I just said. And it says, what different jobs have you had? And I have not had many jobs. Like I said, my first job was Dairy Queen. My second job was at Walmart. I worked there for 9.5 years. I worked in the jewelry department. Back then, the jewelry department, or at least where my store was, it was very busy, and so they always had several associates working there. And so I started out just as a regular associate, and then I became jewelry sales coordinator. So I was kind of in charge of all of the returns and things. So when people return things, I did the claims. I got the orders ready for like sizings, things like that. So I enjoyed it for a while, but Walmart it changed over the years. So then I quit there. And I actually worked for 1 month. I don't even really claim it very much, but I worked for 1 month at Brahms. My sister-in-law was working there and she wanted me to work there. And this was during the time when I found out I was pregnant with Courtney. And I started getting sick a lot. And then Bryce was sick with the flu, and then I got sick with it. And so I was having to take off work a lot, and they kind of got upset at me. And my husband was like, you know what? You don't need to work, just quit, blah, blah, blah. So I quit, and I have not worked since then, other than last year I did work at one of the nutrition clubs. I love Herbalife Nutrition, and I would go there a lot. I was friends with the owners, and they needed a little help there, and so I worked there for a few months. I really enjoyed it. But anyway, so that's my jobs, other than now YouTube. I mean, YouTube, right now, I'm not to the point where I could live off of YouTube, but it is nice to make a little extra money, help out with groceries and bills. Okay, how far apart in ages are your kids? So, Bryce is 15 and Courtney is 12. They're about 3 years apart. And then Courtney and Adrian are only 17 months apart. So, yeah, I had one in 2005, and then 2008, and then 2010. And then I had several people asking, how did I meet my husband? It's a funny story, but we actually met at a bar through a mutual friend, and we've been together ever since. And then it says, how long have you been together and how long have you been married? So we were together for a while. I mean, we had our kids and then we got married. So we have been together now over 13 years, and we have been married for 9. Do you ever get tired of cooking? Oh yeah, definitely. I usually on the weekends don't cook, and if I do cook, it's like quick stuff. I don't make big meals on the weekend very often. Every now and then I'll feel like doing it, but a lot of times, like Sundays, we usually eat out for lunch, and then supper is just something quick and easy. Saturday, it just kind of depends on what we're doing. A lot of times we'll go eat breakfast in the morning and then a light lunch and just whatever. Just kind of depends, but yeah, I get tired of cooking. Okay, the next question that someone asked was, have you always lived in Texas? And no, I haven't. I was born in Texas. I lived here my whole entire life. And then me and my husband moved, it's been a while back, but we moved to Oklahoma, and we lived there for 5.5 years. And then we moved back here to Texas in the same area where I grew up, and we've been back here now for about 5 years. So, and then it says, would you ever consider living in another state? And I would. I mean, if my husband got a job to where we had to move, if we're all together, that's fine. But I'm happy here in Texas because this is where all of our family is. And what is your favorite thing to do when you have free time and like hobbies? In my free time, I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. I like watching movies. Man, I'm not a very interesting person, I guess. Hobbies, I guess YouTube is kind of my hobby, I guess. I enjoy filming and editing videos and all of the stuff that goes along with it. I do like to ride like on our side-by-side. I like to spend time with the kids and do things with them. Anything I can do with my family, if we get to go to get-togethers, things like that. That's just things I love to do. But as for hobbies, I don't really know. I don't really have hobbies, I guess. And then, y'all, I'm bad. What is your dream home? Would it be a bigger house but still on a farm, another destination, or exactly where you are now? I like where we live now. I mean, if we could build a bigger house on this property, that would be fine by me. I would love it. And I like our home. In case you don't know, we do live in a double wide mobile home. It's a Solitaire brand, which is a very well made mobile home. I mean, we have sheetrock wall. There have been tests done on how sturdy this is. I mean, there has been people who have survived tornadoes in a Solitaire home. So if you're gonna buy a mobile home, I think Solitaire is the best brand. I mean, yeah, you know, no offense to anybody else's mobile home. I mean, we've lived in a regular single wide with the regular panel walls and things, and there's a lot of those that are really nice, but if you want something very sturdy constructed, Solitaire is the way to go. So I love our mobile home. The only thing I wish is it had one more bedroom. My husband fell in love with this property more than the home because we do have 35 acres. 17.5 acres is wooded, and the other 17.5 is mainly, it's not really wooded. There's some trees and stuff, but it's mainly just pasture. But we had someone come in about a year ago, it was last year, and they did a lot of work on our back half of our property, so we do have bigger paths and things like that. So, you know, we can drive through there now. Before, if you drove through there, you'd be driving over trees and everything else, little trees, big trees, weeds. It was crazy. But yeah, if we could add on, which is something we've talked about, add on another bedroom and then maybe close in our back deck and make like a second living area, I would love that. That way I feel like that second living area could be for the kids, and then we would attach a room for my oldest son so that he could have his own room, because he's 15 and then his brother is 10, so you know, they're like 4.5 years apart. You have a 5th grader and a 10th grader. Yeah, he needs his own room. So yeah, I wish sometimes that my husband would have gotten a bigger house, but actually at the time there was not a lot of stuff available that we were interested in our price range, and this just seemed perfect at the time. So yep, but my dream home would just be, I would love a bigger house with a big kitchen, open floor plan, rooms for each kid, and I would like a separate room to have like an office area, so, and a lot of storage. Okay, what is your favorite grocery store? Well, where I live, I don't have a lot of choices. We have a Walmart, a Kroger's, a Brookshire's, and Aldi's. That's basically our stores. So a lot of the times I'm at Walmart, or I really like Kroger's a lot. Well, I like them a lot when they have sales, because they do have some good sales sometimes. And then my friend Sarah, that knows me personally, she asked me this question. It was so sweet. How do you balance staying home, being a super mom and wife, but still finding time for yourself? Sarah, you are the sweetest. Girl, I don't feel like I'm a super mom. There are days, y'all, I mean, honestly, there are days when I may sit and not get much done at all. Then there are other days where, man, I feel like I can do everything. I clean and I'll organize and I'll do this and I'll do that, but I am just like everybody else. I have days where all I want to do is sit and watch TV and do nothing. And so I don't know if I'm a super mom. And finding time for yourself, I guess my time for myself is when the kids are at school now. When we had the whole, you know, shelter in place or whatever you call it, yeah, I didn't have a lot of time for myself, but now sometimes I'm like, man, what do I do? Because I'm just not used to that. And then someone asked, what is your favorite meal to cook? Let's see. I love lasagna, and that is a meal that my family loves. Beefsteak ranchero, I like making that. I love to make anything I know my family loves. And we call them meatloaf balls. That is another favorite. So, and spaghetti's my favorite probably. But yeah, that's kind of my favorites. Someone wants me to tell them a little bit about the town where I live. Well, I don't want to give too many details away, but We live outside of town, but the town closest that we always go to, it is a population of probably 25 to 30,000 people. Our sign has not been changed since I was a kid. It always says 25,000, so I know it's got to be more than that. I think the county that I live in, our county has probably about 50,000, I believe. I could be wrong there. So we're not a big town. We don't have a lot to do here. That is one thing. Luckily, we're not far from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so a lot of times, you know, go there and there's plenty of stuff to do. But like in our town, I mean, there's like movies, the movie theater, bowling alley. There used to be like a skating ring, little game room place. I'm not even sure if it's open right now. But as for shopping though, y'all, they are closing down everything. Our JCPenney's is closing down. Our Office Max is closing down. They already closed our Bells down, like our little shopping center. I'm hoping, y'all, I'm hoping they'll bring like a TJ Maxx, a Marshalls in. That would be good. But yeah, our town, it's not real big, but it's not real small either. Definitely bigger than the town we lived in, Oklahoma. I grew up here and I thought this was, oh, this is such a small town. You wait till you move to a town with like less than 300 people. Yeah, it was definitely small. I mean, you had to drive 60 miles to go to Walmart. Yeah. Okay. And it says if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? Okay. I would love to visit Paris, France. I would love to visit, I would love to visit Venice. I think that just looks so pretty, like getting those little gondolas and go down. And then I would love to visit Hawaii. And I was supposed to have visited there several years back. Actually, I have a brother-in-law who was born in Hawaii. He has now passed on to heaven. But we were going to go and visit some of his family when I was a teenager. And then he got sick and everything kind of got put on hold. And so me and my husband say one day we're going to go there. Someone says, how do you budget being a stay-at-home mom? Okay. Well, we decided, me and my husband, when I was pregnant with my daughter Courtney, that I would be a stay-at-home mom because he did not want her to have to go to daycare. Bryce had went to daycare for a short time period, and every day I would drop him off, he'd be crying. Every day when I'd pick him up, he'd be crying, and I just hated it. So we decided to make it work, and it has been hard. I mean, there has been times where we went without certain things. I mean, we've never went without the basic necessities. I mean, we've always had electricity, we've always had water, we've always had a roof over our head, groceries, things like that. But there are times maybe we wouldn't go get the newest, nicest clothes or, you know, whatever. But we've just always made it work. I mean, you just, sometimes if you want to stay home, you have to give up things. And like me, I don't go and get my hair done very often. Once, maybe twice a year. I don't get my nails done. You know, some of those things. But then again, I've never been a person to do that. And I mean, I think it's pretty to get nails done, but they never last on me. That's why Courtney's been learning how to do it. But no, we've just had to make sacrifices at times. There are times when my husband's doing well and then we're okay. But I mean, in particular, I mean, to be honest, last year at Christmas time, we struggled. We really did, and we had people helping us. Kids' Christmas gifts were bought with a credit card. You know, it's just life, you know. Sometimes you have the good high times, you know, where things are good, and then other times you have the low times, and you just have to make it work. We've always made it work. And even now, I could go to work, but my children, we live out of district, and so they're transfer students, so I have to take them to school and pick them up because we wanted them to stay in this school. We really like it. And so really the time period that I would have in between, you know, bringing them and picking them up is very short, and it would be really kind of hard to find a job that's willing to work around that. So I mean, maybe in the future, but I'm hoping that my YouTube will pick up a little more and I can make, you know, even if it's just enough to pay some help with some bills and groceries, that's fine. Okay, sorry this may be taking a while. What is your favorite TV show or series? Just a second, another message. Okay, someone wanted to know what was my favorite TV show or series. And hopefully it doesn't look like I'm looking above y'all. I know I should look straight in here, and I keep wanting to look above at my little screen. Okay, y'all, you're gonna laugh maybe, but my favorite TV show is The Walking Dead, or series. And I found out that they're canceling it. I mean, or not, you know, they're ending it after this next season, that's it. I like the whole Walking Dead thing. I mean, I watched Fear the Walking Dead. There's a new one coming out, and they're supposed to have a spinoff of The Walking Dead with Daryl and Carol. So I'm excited for that. I also Like, and y'all, I know a lot of people are like, it's about zombies. Y'all, it's more than zombies. Like, yes, that's a part of it. You know, I know there'll never be a zombie apocalypse. Oh, at least I hope not. But you get, to me, I got involved with the characters. Like, you get in, you like get in their spot and you start to like know these characters, and if something happens to them, like I've cried when characters have died, and you just like, especially like some of them, like Carl, if you watch, you know, he started as a little boy and grew on up. Hopefully, this is spoiler alert. If you have not finished, don't listen to this part. But when he died, y'all, I cried. I felt like I was like so sad. Anyways, so, oh, Heart of Dixie. I loved that show, and I wish they would have kept on making it. Me and the kids just loved it. Oh, and I started watching, is it Sweet Magnolias? Love that show. Me and my husband, we like watching like Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD. I like Chicago Fire and Chicago Med the best. Chicago PD, I'll watch it, but I don't, sometimes I'll like kind of go off in my own little world and do something else, be on my phone when that one's on. I don't know why I don't get into it as much. But yeah, those are probably some of my most favorite ones. Have you ever attended a music concert? When I was younger with church, I went to a Carmen concert. If anybody knows who Carmen is, he was a Christian, or he still is a Christian singer. I have been to Billy Bob's in Dallas. We went and saw Miranda Lambert there. We saw Tyler Farr at the casino not too long ago, because in Oklahoma. And there was a thing by the lake not far from here, and it was held by like Toyota. It was like something to do with boats, I don't know. And Toby Keith was there, so I've seen him. And is that all? I haven't been to a lot of concerts, y'all. I would have loved, and I still want to go to a New Kids on the Block concert. I was a New Kids on the Block fan, never got to go. One day I'm gonna go. Says, does your family have any traditions for the holidays that are different from most people? Well, my husband is, he grew up Mennonite. He's actually considered a German Mennonite. He's no longer, Mennonite is more of a religion. He no longer like follows that part of it. He is German. And when I say German, he speaks a form of German that is Low German. So it's not like the Germans in Germany. They speak High German. I believe originally they came from Russia. But like my husband's family, his mom and dad were born in Mexico. But my husband and all of his siblings, except for one, were born in Canada. My husband is a United States citizen. He came here and became a resident for many years, and then he became a citizen. So he is a United States citizen, but he has dual citizenship. So I cannot speak, y'all. So he is both Canadian and American. So he's like, he has dual citizenship. So like his family, I don't think it's that much different. Like some of the food at holidays, maybe that my family would have, they didn't have, like sweet potatoes. That's something we always had, and I introduced that to his family. So like every holiday, like Thanksgiving or Christmas, they're like, will you please make sweet potatoes? Like my little nephews, it's so cute. They will tear up some sweet potatoes. That's something that my family always had. We always made dressing with cornbread, and they make stuffing. But as for traditions, I don't know, not really. Or at least around everybody I know, we're not any different. So I don't really know of any specific traditions. And then someone said they were sorry, but they were wondering, how did my dog pass away? And I didn't really talk about it because it was so sad, y'all. Okay, my dog Chloe, she's a blue heeler. She was about 4.5 years old, and she is a cattle dog. So she roamed our 35 acres. This was her home, and that's where she lived. She lived out in the, you know, amongst our land. She was a good dog. She never ran away. This was her home. This was her area that she patrolled and took care of. But she liked to get, in the summer and in warm weather, or anytime actually, she liked to get under the vehicles, I guess because it was cooler. And but anytime she saw us go toward the vehicles, and my husband has a big truck, a couple of big trucks. She never got under my car because it was too little, but we have a couple of big trucks. And so she was under the truck, and normally you go toward the vehicle and she would get out, you know, come out immediately. Or if not, as soon as you started it, you know, she would run out. And we never just like start the cars and just, you know, go. So that day, my husband went outside and he started his truck. And he actually said he sat there for a minute because he was looking at the oil pressure or something, making sure it was building up right or something. And he started to back up, and he said all of a sudden he felt something. And he said, he thought he ran over one of the kids' bikes. Right about that time, he looked in the mirror and he saw the dog just kind of running and then fall to the ground. And my son was outside doing some work and he seen it happen. And I'm in the bathroom, coming out of the bathroom, and my husband ran in and he said, oh my God, the dog. I ran over the dog. And I'm like, what? And so I ran outside and she was laying on the ground, y'all. All the kids came and she was struggling to breathe. We were worried that she was gonna have to be put down. But the kids, I mean, they just lost it. My oldest son ran back by the pond. The little ones were in the house, and me and my husband were right there with her. And within less than a minute, you know, she was having a little hard time struggling to breathe. She looked perfectly fine, but she was struggling to breathe, and she finally just, I mean, within a minute, she was gone. We were right there with her, and my husband, sorry, my camera stopped. That right there was so hard on him. He felt awful, you know. I mean, he loved our dogs. That was his partner. Anytime you would even walk toward the side-by-side, she jumped in it, because now I'm gonna try not to cry, y'all. She always would jump up in there, and she loved to go for rides. I mean, he always, there was times when he needed to go somewhere and he didn't want to bring her, and one of the kids would have to hold her because she would just run after him. And she was just the sweetest dog, y'all. And she had, in the past few years, she had really calmed down. When she was a puppy, of course, she was hyper and jumping and all that, but she was such a good dog. And one thing, like when I would go to take the trash out, we always would roll our trash can once a week out to the road. And just a second, once a week when we'd roll the trash can out to the road, she would always run ahead of you and start barking like out into the trees and stuff. Like she was gonna make sure nobody or nothing came over there to get us. And we still miss her. That was our Chloe. That was our little Clo. Miss that dog. Okay, I'm hoping I interpret this question right. It says, boys versus girls, do they pick on each other, and do they like school? Well, you know, I have 2 boys and 1 girl, and they do pick on each other. And in the mornings, Courtney is a bossy little girl, and she likes to get to school early, and the boys are like me. They're not morning people. She's more like her daddy, and so she will be just running this house. I mean, she is running through the house telling everybody, get up, let's go. So that's when most of the fighting occurs. And then I'm like, pulling my hair out. As for school, yeah, Courtney and Bryce both love school. Adrian doesn't. He does not like school. First of all, he doesn't like wearing the mask to school now, but he didn't like school in the first place. He keeps saying, why do I have to go to school? I already know how to read. I already know how to add and subtract. I'm like, there's a little more than that. So anyways, yeah. Okay, someone asked, what is your favorite part of the day and why? Okay, probably my favorite part of the day is in the morning, like when I get home from taking the kids to school, and if it's just me here and it's quiet, and I can just drink some coffee and just kind of watch a little TV and just relax. I don't know, I like that part of the day. Or late at night. Sometimes late at night, I get like bursts of energy, and that's when I want to do stuff. It's kind of funny. I've always been more of a night owl. That's why getting up in the mornings, I'm not good at it. My husband is like up and running around and like, get up, and I'm just like, ugh. What is your favorite memory? Wow, y'all. I mean, if I look back as a child, my parents are both gone, and so when I look back at the memories of just spending time with them, I miss my parents so much. My dad passed when I was 22, and he's been gone a while. And then my mom just passed. Actually, it's almost 8 years since my mama passed. But my dad used to love to go to garage sales, and so I remember getting up with him in the mornings, early in the mornings, and we would drive to Dallas because that was the best garage sales, and we would go garage selling. And I remember on Wednesday night, my dad drove the church van, and he would go pick up all the kids for church. And then after church on Wednesday, I would always say, Daddy, can we go to McDonald's, because I love Big Macs? And he'd say, you want a Big Mac? And I'm like, yeah. So we would always go and get a Big Mac. My dad loved auctions. I loved going to the auctions with my dad. I was the youngest in my family. There's like a 15-year age gap between me and the next youngest. And like my siblings, almost all of them could be my parent. Their kids are my age. So I was kind of the only one left at home. And so I kind of got spoiled, and I was kind of a daddy's girl. And, you know, And I used to go up to my daddy and be like, Daddy, do you have any money you don't want? And he's like, I don't have any money I don't want. What do you want? And I was all, I just had him wrapped around my finger, and I miss him so much. And I think sometime about how much he would love my kids. Oh my gosh, he would love them. And my mama, y'all, when I think about my mama, I could just cry because I miss her so much. My mama, sweet, sweet lady. And she went through a lot in her life. She had rheumatoid arthritis and her fingers were crippled. It got to the point where her knees were bad and she was in a lot of pain. And I know that woman loved me and she loved my kids. Her and my oldest son Bryce had a really, really strong bond. I hate to say it, but I think sometimes she was the favorite of everybody. She loved him. And at my mama's funeral, my little boy got up there, he's 7 years old, and just talked about how much he loved his Meemaw. I gotta stop talking about this, y'all. I'm gonna just keep crying, but I miss her still. To this day, I want to pick up the phone, I want to call her, and I just want to, I would give anything to give her a big old hug. Okay, let's move on. Okay, what is my favorite food? Y'all, I love steak and baked potatoes. I love Mexican food. I love enchiladas. I love quesadillas. I love it. But I do also love catfish. Fried catfish. Those right there, those 3 things, 4 things, whatever, I could live off of. Favorite clothes to wear. Y'all, my favorite clothes to wear, like right now, it's getting to be fall weather, is hoodies, long sleeve, warm shirts. I love yoga pants for the longest time. I would wear all the time, or leggings. Anything comfortable with elastic, you know. I love it. Soft and comfy clothes, that's my favorite thing. And usually when I'm at home, that's what I wear. Or in the summer, I'm wearing t-shirts, shorts, or leggings. And then, do you have any animals? Well, in case you didn't know, well, we have one dog now. We have a puppy. She's also a blue heeler. Her name is Stormy. She's 5 months old now, and she is a handful. She is so funny. She chews up everything, and she does not like Crocs. My husband and my son Adrian both have a pair of Crocs, and they love them. Anytime they are wearing those Crocs, she attacks them. She wants to just chew them up. And we also have, let's see, there are 11 cows, 1 bull, 5 calves, and 1 steer. I believe I have it right now. Yeah. Sometimes I have to stop and think, because we did have a couple of our cows that passed away, so I think that's correct. Which leads me into the questions about our farm and cows. Okay, I've had several people who ask, you know, if are your cows beef cows? If so, why do you buy beef at the store? You and your family raise cows, but you buy prepackaged beef. That, I actually talked to my husband about that because I wanted to give the correct answer. Yes, our cows are beef cattle, and when we moved back here, most of the money that, because we had cattle when we lived in Oklahoma, but my husband sold them, and we had to use a lot of the money for things that we sold there for our move, because we moved such a far, I mean, we moved over 500 something miles back here. And so we used most of that money for the move and for our deposit, or our down payment for this house. The bank required a certain amount, so it took like almost everything we had. And we wanted to get cattle again, but we did not have the money to get them on our own, so we did take out a bank loan. You can do that, an agriculture loan, and we bought our cows. So we cannot legally go and butcher them or sell those cows. If we do sell them, we have to replace them. So what we're doing right now is we're making the payments, and the way we make our payments is the calves that our cows have every year, when they're big enough, we take them to the auction and sell them, and the money we make goes toward the payment. So they are almost paid for. Once they're paid for, then if we want to butcher one to have meat for ourselves, we can start selling them and whatever. But for now, it's more of, we just love having cows, and my husband, it's something he enjoys. It's also a very good tax write-off, I know, but we don't do it just for that. We just love having cows, and eventually we want to be able to keep some of the calves, and right now we can't because we have to use that money for our payment. So that's kind of why, you know. And when we do buy meat, like, we try to buy it from the meat market because it's better. When we lived in Oklahoma, actually, because my husband worked with a farmer, we got beef every year for free from his boss. All we had to do was pay for the fee to go have it processed. I miss that because that was some good beef. I love, you know, farm raised beef. It says, tell us a little bit about how your farm got started and how long you've been doing it, and anything else you would like to say. I kind of answered that, but my husband, I grew up in town. I never actually had any farm animals or anything like that. My husband, though, used to have horses, but he kind of got out of that business, and when we lived in Oklahoma, and they had hundreds of cattle that his boss raised, and so every year he worked all the cattle. I mean, they had calves every year. I mean, they did all of their own, you know, when it comes to the steers, you know what you have to do to make a steer. I mean, they did all that themselves. Yeah, he just anything cattle related, and he loved that. And so eventually he wants to get more. I mean, we would like to have a lot more, but we're just kind of starting out slow. And our farm right now only consists of those cows. We do have a fence that my husband has slowly been building, but he's been so busy that we want to get goats. We want to do that for our kids, give them something that they can, you know, take pride in doing. In the same way, we will be raising the goats, the babies, then the kids can turn around and sell, and then that money can go into their bank account for them to save for whatever. And we have started building a chicken pen. That was another question someone asked when we were going to get the chickens, and hopefully soon my husband can finish that. Him and the boys started building that, but we do plan to get chickens, and those we will just be having to have for eggs. And my husband said we're going to butcher some of those, but I don't know about that, y'all. I ain't fixing to go out there and do all that. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, they do it. I can't pluck chickens and all that. And someone asked, of course, if the cows are ours, and if so, who feeds them? And yes, they are our cows. And our ground out there right now has plenty of grass. In the winter, we do have to feed them hay, and we will put out several hay bales a week. And we have a pond, that's where they get their water. And we don't do it all the time, but we give, because we want our cows to be gentle, and they are. So we will feed them cubes. We feed them alfalfa hay. So they come, and a lot of them will eat right out of your hand. There's some that get a little spooked, but yep. And finally, y'all, this video is taking forever. I'm gonna get to the YouTube questions. I had several of these. Had several people that asked, what is one piece of advice you would give another person who is thinking of starting a YouTube channel? Oh, sorry. My kids make fun of the way I say channel, and I just realized I said it weird. Okay. I would say be yourself. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't try to copy another YouTuber, because I feel like that will come off in your video. I try my best not to, I mean, if I do something that just happens to be like someone else, it's not intentional. I like watching YouTubers that seem real and relatable. No offense to anyone else, but there are some that you get on there and you do almost feel like you're watching an actual TV show. It feels very scripted, and I mean, that's maybe the way they do it, but I like more realistic. I like to see more just realistic homes, like that I may actually walk into and sit down and like talk with these people. So my biggest piece of advice is just stay true to yourself, be real, don't try to change yourself to make people happy. So that would be the biggest advice. Someone asked, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel, or why did you start a YouTube channel? I love watching YouTube. I just love it. Several years ago when I was in Oklahoma, I actually started this channel as ABC's Mommy. And you may even go back and look at some of my older videos. Some of them I made private because my kids were like, don't show that. But I left some of them on there. And I used to do like little tags, and every now and then I would do like a show in the house or whatever. And then I didn't do it for a long time. And then recently I had started watching a lot of the YouTubers. I just loved doing it. And my kids were like, Mom, why don't you make a YouTube channel again? I think you would be good at it and everything. And so I thought about it, I researched it, and I started just doing it. Yeah, actually I started back doing YouTube videos last August of 2019. And someone said, how did you decide today is a day to do YouTube? And honestly, I don't know. I guess I didn't just one day pick up the camera and do it. I actually did a little bit of research. I tried to think of the name, and Kimsfarmhouselife came about. Of course, my name is Kim, and even though our property is not like a huge farm, we do have, you know, we do have cows. We're gonna get chickens and goats, and I love the farmhouse style, And if we ever were to be able to build a home, it would be farmhouse style. My decorating style in most of the house is farmhouse. And eventually on the outside, I don't show my outside of our house because I feel like it doesn't match the inside. We need to just paint, and we've done some things. Not that it looks bad, but I'm not the best at decorating. We need to do some landscape work around the house. Once we get all that done and figure out what we're gonna do, I'll show y'all. But anyways, I don't know. I get scatterbrained. Now I don't even know where I was at. Okay. How did you get started on YouTube? That's another one. I started my YouTube channel using my phone. I have a Samsung S8 and I did all my videos with that camera. I just went to Walmart and I bought a tripod, and it had the little mount to put your camera on. And that's what I used up until, I believe it was around April or May. Might have been, no, actually it was more towards May because it was Mother's Day. I finally invested in the Canon G7X Mark II camera. And that was after I had been monetized. I got monetized in December and received my first YouTube paycheck February 21st, which I remember because that's my mom's birthday. And so I had kind of been earning some money, and then I bought the camera. But anyway, so I started out with that. I did all my editing on my phone. I started out using, is it called KineMaster or KineMaster? And I had a few issues on that. So then I found PowerDirector app, and I used that up until now. I got me a laptop back in, I think it was March. I got a laptop because my old laptop, it was actually my husband's, was way out of date, and it just could not keep up with editing software. So I do have PowerDirector 18 on my phone. I subscribe to it's called PowerDirector 365, and that's where you get PowerDirector. You get a lot of the different add-ons. You have access to a lot of media, a lot of pictures. It's just, I don't know, I started with that and I really love it, but there are a lot of other good editing softwares out there, and I pay mine yearly. At first I started doing it monthly, but then I realized, man, I'm gonna spend a whole lot more, so I pay it every year now. And then for the PowerDirector app, I think it was $9.99 every 3 months on your phone, which is not bad because it was a good editing software. And I still do my thumbnails on my phone. I just find it to be easier. So, and if anyone has any questions or would like me to do an in-depth video on how I started my channel and things that I used and did, let me know down in the comments below, and then I can try to put that together. I didn't want to do it if no one was interested. And if I don't get that many people that are interested, I could just, you can message me on Instagram, and then I can give you some help. I'm always trying to help people out if I can. Someone asked, does it cost to do YouTube? To do YouTube, I mean, to have a channel, it doesn't cost anything. And you could probably, there are probably some free apps that you can use for editing. It just, I mean, really if you have a phone that does good video, and which most of the phones nowadays do, I mean, that's really all you need to get started. And there's a lot of people that still use their phone that are making videos and stuff. So don't let that stop you. And then someone asked, did you invest a lot in the beginning to start out? And no, I didn't. Like I said, I bought the tripod, and I think I got it at Walmart for about, maybe it was less than $20 because it wasn't anything fancy. And yeah, at first I was using, and even PowerDirector, you can use the free version. It just puts that little watermark on it. So, and then someone asked, how has your life changed since starting YouTube? Well, I will say I have met a lot of amazing people, a lot. I don't have a lot of close friends in real life. I'm close to my family. I have some nieces, I have a cousin, I have, people like that, sister-in-laws, people in my family that I'm close to. But as for close friends, I just don't. My family is the most important thing, my children are the most important thing, so I don't really get out and hang out with a lot of people. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I don't see them a lot. But there are people on YouTube and Instagram that I talk to daily. I have met some of the most amazing people, sweet people, kind people. I've had people, when my dog passed away, that sent me cards. I had so many messages, gifts. I mean, it just really, really meant a lot to me. And even when I was struggling and I didn't say it, I had a friend who knew. She just knew and was there for me. And so I would say the biggest thing is just all of the sweet and kind people that I've met, and just this community. It's so, I just love it. I love all the people. and says, has it been everything you thought it would be? Honestly, y'all, when I started, I never thought I would get to the 1,000 subscribers, the 4,000 watch hours, and yeah, I think is that right? Yeah, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours that you have to get to become monetized. I never saw that happening. I mean, I remember getting like 50 subscribers or hitting 100 subscribers, and I was excited. I never thought I would actually make anything from it. I never thought it would grow. I mean, now I'm over 6,000 subscribers, which to me is like amazing. I mean, thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. It means so much to me because I never thought I would get here, and it's amazing. But my husband's always like, you just think positive. Da, da, da. He's one of those, it's like, don't think negative. And I'm like, I'm not. I just didn't think I would get here. and then it says, someone said, are you more comfortable online answering things and showing things than you would be if someone wanted to do a meet and greet? Definitely, I'm more comfortable online. Like I even sometimes, like when I have to like face the camera straight on like this and talk, you probably see I'm fidgeting because I get a little nervous. I don't know. So I don't think I could do like in front of people, like showing how to do no, I couldn't. I'm more comfortable just talking like this, even though I know y'all are all going to see it. It's just a little different. Someone asked, are you going to post any other hauls other than grocery hauls? Yeah, I can. I just haven't, I mean, I have shown in the past, like when I think I bought some clothes or something for the kids and stuff. We just haven't done a whole lot of shopping, I guess. And I mean, I'm the type that I buy a little here, a little there, a little here. So that's probably why I don't do like other hauls. I mean, when I go buy groceries, I buy a big amount at one time. But as for other stuff, I may go and we may buy a few things here and then a few things there. But as it gets closer to Christmas, maybe I'll start showing. I just have to be careful because my kids tend to get on and watch my videos. So it'd be hard to kind of show their gifts because, yeah. But anyways, I think I've answered everything that was asked to me. But I do appreciate everybody who asked the questions. If you have any more that you want to ask, you can just leave them down in the description. Did I say description earlier? Leave it down in the comments below and I will answer it just down there. I love talking to y'all in the comments. I love reading all these comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And hopefully it wasn't too long. If it was, I apologize, but there was a lot of questions and I'm trying to get them through as quickly as I can. But I love y'all. I really do. I appreciate y'all. So I guess that's it. So I will see y'all on Friday with my What's for Dinner, 8 a.m. Central Time. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye. Yeah.